going to talk about today?
So I thought we'd round off today's discussion with one last case.
Of course.
Another famous case, also in America. And this one has to do with an individual named Rex Heflin. He worked for the Orange County Road Department.
Okay, so he was outside all the time.
Right. He was outside driving around all the time. And his encounter happened on August 3rd, 1965 in Santa Ana, California. How his encounter first started was he was driving down the road and he saw an obstructed railroad crossing sign. So his job was to drive around and look for any signs that were damaged or obstructed.
Gotcha.
You know, to
make sure safety was
right.
Yeah.
It was all about safety. So he picked up his radio after he noticed this and tried to call his supervisor over the radio. So the radio wasn't functioning for some reason. He was getting a lot of static. It just didn't work. So he tried to call his supervisor and he wasn't able to raise him on the radio. He couldn't get through. As he's trying to do that, a UFO crossed in front of him on the road.
Oh, wow.
On Myford Road, right in front of him. And he said it was a silvery straw hat shaped object with a wide black band around the circumference.
It's kind of a standard sighting. I mean, beside the black band, I think the...
Right, but it had a flat top, flat bottom.
Oh,
flat. So this was the first photograph he took here. So he reached over.
Oh, I see.
See, part of his job was he was supposed to also photograph these signs that were damaged or obstructed.
Right. So he had this camera.
So he had a camera with him.
Right.
On the seat of his car, on a
Probably
truck.
Tons of film too.
He had a Polaroid 101 camera, and it happened to be loaded with 3000 ASA film,
which is big grain.
Yeah. So anyway, he took the first photo through the windshield, and he said the object was spinning, and it spun to the north, and then he said it tilted, and he could see the bottom of the object, and he said it was darker on the bottom than it was on the top.
Oh.
And he said that there was a rotating greenish-white beam of light that was emitting from the center of the bottom of the craft and was shining outwards towards the edge of the rim of the craft.
Wow.
Like a beacon.
It just looks like Mary Poppins' hat. I'm sorry.
So by the time he took the second photo, the object had moved over to the side, and so he took it through the passenger front window.
Gotcha.
Because the object moved in front of him,
right,
over
across, from left to right.
Yes, from left to right. So he took the second photograph through the passenger window. As it was flying away, as it went off into the distance, it became less distinct.
Right.
And he snapped the third photo. And then he said that the object wobbled, and then it stabilized, and then it took off at a high speed towards the northwest. I'm sorry, the northeast. And it crossed the Santa Ana freeway. So he said it flew off about 1.5 miles into the distance. And then he said when it disappeared off into the distance, he saw a bluish-black ring in the sky.
Bluish-black ring.
Like a very dark blue, almost black ring.
Wow.
Like a smoke ring kind of in the sky. And he thought it was made by the black section around. That was his assumption anyway.
Yeah.
Here's a photo of the smoke ring. He drove.
Wow.
It was actually clearer than this, but he drove 0.5 mile to take this picture. So he actually, once it was taken off and he saw it made this ring, he just drove straight over there, or as close as he could get before it started dissipating.
Right.
And took a photo of it. But he said it was much more distinct than this photo here. You can see it's dissipating at this point.
Well, if it moves,
And then he said that this ring was the fourth photo that he took. He said that it moved towards the northeast on a sharp angle and kept ascending
to the northeast.
To the northeast. I was curious, have other people reported smoke rings in the
yeah,
sky?
that's the first time
you know?
I've hear about this. I mean, he hasn't seen fire, and there's smoke.
No, he didn't see any visible means
Right.
of
So
propulsion
it has to be
whatsoever.
some, like,
I looked online, and there are a number of smoke rings,
That's really strange.
black, ironically,
too.
black smoke rings that people have photographed in the sky. Now, there's ways to make
Of course.
rings, you know, but some of these photos, not these particular ones here, but I saw some where you could see the ground and you could see people on the ground, and you could also see almost like some smoke coming up. So they probably created it,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So we should end our episode today and save the rest for next time.
Let's say for next time.
So we want to thank you for tuning in. So
Well, I
if
learned
you
more.
enjoyed this episode, please do hit that subscribe button.
Press that little bell if you want notification when we're on, when we
Right.
post new stuff.
Tune in again.
Next
Come
week,
back and see
whenever.
us for the next episode.
Thank you.
So have a good one.